Helen Dennis loves adventure and is always looking for opportunities to travel and explore. She lives her life by the mantra that not all who wander are lost, and is determined to meet all of her travel goals. Her essay is titled, My Normal.
I always knew my normal was different. From the first suicide note written on a scrap of orange construction paper when I was 9, to the nights of my adolescence lost to painkillers and alcohol, to the screaming red lines carved into my 24-year-old arms, I knew. My experience with this illness has been marked by sharp boundaries formed around what I cherish as normal, separating me from the vast churn of sadness, rage, fear, hopelessness, and most of all, self-loathing that tear at these boundaries incessantly. Early in my journey, the boundaries dividing chaos from normalcy were so fragile, so porous, so as to be almost non-existent. The sucking wasteland of my illness defined me, defined how I lived in this world, defined how I saw myself and my place in it. In my youth, this meant a constant feeling of otherness, of being separate from the world around me, like I was looking in at normal from the wild chaos of my own strange world. Being so isolated, I felt unworthy of love, too odd and misshapen from the inside out to ever fit in. The stormy wasteland pushed and pulled me, and I was lost to the power of this unknown. I had no idea why I felt this way, and those adults around me who were equally clueless chalked it up to me being that weird, quirky Helen. By the age of 12, undiagnosed, struggling mightily with the ups and downs of my illness, I was awkward and raw and seeking any relief I could find. So I drank at night, I took as many pills as I dared, and I muddled through life, praying and begging God to make the inner tumult stop, to quell the wasteland one way or another. I dreamed of closing my eyes and never opening them again, finally safe and at peace. I made it to college, I found lifelong friends, I fell in love. But through it all, the wasteland pressed in around me with a savage urgency, filling me with anxiety bordering on constant terror. I was lonely more often than not. I was seeped in alcohol and had tried every sleeping aid and painkiller combination I could get my hands on, anything to make the raging thoughts and churning feelings of hopelessness stop. They didn't. But I couldn't tell anyone exactly what was happening, how bad the chaos inside me was getting. No one could possibly understand. So I kept my many suicide attempts to myself. I wore long sleeves to hide the cuts. I hid behind my smile and my work. I moved 6,000 miles around the world to escape the dysfunction swirling both inside me and all around me. I ran and I ran and I ran. I ran to more drinking, I ran to more drugs, I ran to smoking. I ran to indiscretions of almost every kind. I felt that I could outrun the wasteland, that if I only kept trying harder and harder still, I could win and claim absolute normalcy for my own. That didn't happen. What did happen is that I called out of work one Tuesday at age 27, said goodbye to my partner as he headed to the office, and took a series of deep breaths as I prepared the razors and bath water. I was done. I had no more fight left in any part of my being. I literally could not see past each moment as it flitted by. I couldn't focus. I felt only head-to-toe pain. The only thoughts I had were, I love my partner, I'm sorry, and I thank the universe that this is over. Then I heard the front door open and saw the concerned face of my partner peer into my bedroom. He returned home based on a feeling he'd had. The floodgates opened then. I was honest, completely, for the first time in my life. I told him what I was planning. I admitted what the scars were. I confessed that I felt worthless and a waste of life. Most crucially, however, I admitted I needed help. Help came. I was admitted through the emergency room and eventually, over several hospital stays, built an amazing team of nurses, social workers, and doctors who finally diagnosed me as bipolar 2 and explored treatment aggressively. I've undergone extensive therapy that has greatly helped me gain control of my thoughts. After years of trial and error, I've found a medication cocktail that works well enough to keep my normal within reach. Today, the boundaries around my normal are tall and strong and expansive. Yes, the churning wasteland is always there, but it's more like the sound of a distant ocean on the far horizon, most of the time. I do sometimes wonder about all the precious time lost throughout my life to depression and bipolar, and it can sadden and anger me to think of what I missed during the darkest times. But I choose to focus on the present, and I'm so grateful for my now and my normal.